Good morning. Good morning, YouTube world. What's up? What's up? Top of the morning to everybody. I'm on my way to work right now. So, I'm going to start trying to go live in the morning while I'm on my way to work because I know sometimes during the day I get kind of busy, so I don't really get a chance to do it. And most of the time I'm watching other stuff on YouTube throughout the day. So, but I'm here. I'm here. If you guys can see my title, I have a couple things in my title that I kind of want to touch base on. And one of them, guys, as you can see, one of them is actually Tyler Perry. I want to speak on Tyler Perry's situation a little bit. I know everybody heard about that lawsuit that he has out. The guy got that lawsuit on him. Sexual abuse or whatever you want to call it. Sexual advantages that he claims that Tyler Perry made on him. Y'all, this guy is trying to sue Tyler for $260 million. And the largest claim that he has on Tyler Perry that he says he did was he grabbed his butt cheeks. That's what he said. He said Tyler grabbed his butt cheeks and made several sexual advantages to him. That's his lawsuit claim. Now, y'all, I'm never going to downplay any type of sexual abuse or anything on anyone, because that is those are serious accusations. Those accusations are serious. However, he have not given enough evidence to me. For one, he hasn't given enough evidence to even prove that Tyler did anything. One. And two, $260 million for getting your butt cheeks grabbed. I mean, come on now. This is what he's trying to sue Tyler for. And that's how much money he wants. And he's saying it's because of loss of wages. Loss of wages. First of all, you were on the show, The Oval. Shout out to The Oval, because I used to watch that. It was pretty good. And I remember him on the show. He did not have a big role on that show. He was a desk clerk or something like that on the show. I mean, he was all right on it, but he wasn't, to me, he wasn't the best actor either. But he was on that show, and the amount of roles that Tyler had, this guy had, he wasn't worth $260 million. It definitely was not worth $260 million for him to want to sue Tyler for that amount of money. So I'm sorry. I don't believe him, and I'm claiming that it's extortion. Now, I'm going to say this. I do believe him and Tyler, flirted. I do believe that, because, we all know, even before this came out, anyone that actually have followed Tyler Perry knows that, he liked what he liked, I always could tell that. I don't know about anybody else, but I always felt that way. But he likes who he likes, and that's his preference. Nobody's, taking that away from him. But I believe in this guy, he likes who he likes. But I think that they flirted with each other. And I think he kind of flirted too, because he wanted that job, just like all most of these you know, women or men that usually work with someone with that caliber of money, most of them, they actually go along with a lot of that stuff because they're trying to keep their jobs, and they're okay with they're okay with those situations that they're in while they're in it, until they're not getting anything else from it anymore. Most of them are okay with it. You know, even when it came to the Bill Cosby situation, I feel as though a lot of those women, you know, at that Playboy Mansion, a lot of those women were okay with what Bill had going on at the time. What we talking about? Well, I was just talking about I started talking about the Tyler Perry situation with this guy that's suing him for $260 million, you know, for sexual advantages that he said Tyler made on him. And his claim is Tyler grabbed his butt cheeks. So that's one of his claims for the $260 million lawsuit. And I was just giving my opinion on it. I said, I feel as though, number one, you know, I watched the Oval, and Oval is the show that he was on. He's saying that it's because of loss of wages. He wasn't a top tier actor, for one. He wasn't a top tier actor. So he wasn't worth $260 million, for one. So his lawsuit is already too much. It's already too much. And I'm claiming that it's extortion. He's trying to extort Tyler. I think he knew that he could get, you know, he see what the trend is. This is what, you know, people do now. They go and they start, they go out and they start working with these people with money. And once they see what they can get, the same thing with Shannon Sharp, you know, which a lot of his was his fault. But when you see people with money and they got these people working with them, or you have someone that's making less money, you got to expect that. You know, you can't just go out and trust people like that if you know that you got that kind of money. And that guy knew that he could get what he could get from Tyler. And I do believe, like I was saying earlier, that Tyler probably did. I'm going to say Tyler probably made some advances on him. Because I don't know Tyler, but I can, in his demeanor and watching him on different shows, and the vibe that he had with his confidence, I feel as though he feels like he can get, you know, he can do what he wants. And he do seem to be very aggressive. I don't know. He does, in my opinion, seem to be very aggressive. So I do believe that they flirted with each other, but I want to say this guy went along with it too. He went along with it too. And when he no longer had his role on the Oval, that's when he got upset and he decided that he wanted to sue. Because he had those text messages and all that stuff that he feels as though he can prove that Tyler did those things. And the text message shows that, you know, they did have a back and forth, but nothing happened. But for $260 million, it's definitely not worth it. I mean, he should have gave a reasonable lawsuit, and maybe someone probably would believe him a little bit more. But you know, that's an astronomical amount of money that you're trying to sue someone for when you're not even worth that amount. So yeah, I think they're trying to get Tyler for his money. But these actors and these stars, they got to be careful. They got to be careful, because that's what people out there, they out to get their money from them. Yeah. All right, how y'all doing this morning? Hey, Courtney. Good morning. I'm actually on my way to work, so I'm probably not going to be able to see every comment. I apologize to y'all. You're saying something. But yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to speak on. And also, yeah, Brittany, I don't know if y'all heard about a few weeks ago, Brittany Renner and PJ Washington, their situation, where it was a video, came out. PJ came to pick the child up from the house, and I don't know. I guess they're having some issues, co-parenting issues, and she kind of like pushed the child off on him, telling them, here, take him, because you don't ever see him, and the baby was crying, and it was a whole mess. But in situations like that, I understand co-parenting can be tough. Co-parenting can be tough, especially when you're and your child's parent isn't getting along. It could be a tough situation, but you gotta make it work for the child, because just to hear that child crying and carrying on like that in front of them, it's sad. And as parents, you have to understand that you're traumatizing your child when you do that. You're doing it out of anger, one, because the other person already moved on. You say you don't want them, or you claim you don't want them, but then you're angry at them when they move on, and you want to take it out on your child. You can't do that. You're putting your child in the middle of an adult situation when they have no place there. They have no place, and you shouldn't be using your child to try to intimidate your child's parent, the other parent. And I felt as though that's what she did. And if I was PJ Washington, I would file for custody. I'm sorry. A lot of times people feel as though you can, like the woman is always right because you're a woman, and a woman should have the child. You can't say that in all situations, because there are some good parents out there that are men too, that have full custody. So you do have to look at it on both ends. And I promise you, if PJ Washington go and he takes that video to the court, which I'm sure, it's because it's on the internet, everyone sees it, the court would probably side with him, because she was ridiculous. She was ridiculous the way she was acting on that video. Y'all gotta go see it if y'all haven't seen it. She pushing the child off on him, telling him, you need to hey, go with your daddy. You don't see your daddy. I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? Grow up. Grow up. I'm like, how old are you? That's why some people don't even need to be parents, if you ask me. But it is what it is. Some people just not meant to be parents. But the way she was handling that situation is ridiculous. That's why to be honest, that's why a lot of domestic violence occur, because of that. These men, the men get tired. They get tired of arguing, and women like that, believe me, they probably real aggressive. She's probably aggressive and antagonizing him, trying to make him do something to her so she could go and she can file charges on him. That's what a lot of women do. A lot of them do that. And like I said, all it does is cause problems within the child. Traumatize them. Next thing you know, they go to school. They got all this stuff going on. They're getting in trouble. And now you're creating a long-term problem. You're creating a long-term problem because of it. As women, I'm telling you, we got to do better. You know, I love, you know, being a woman. I love the way, you know, most women are, you know, independent, smart. But we have some, you know, like they said, one bad apple can spoil the whole barrel. And you do have some women out there that make all women look bad. We have women out there that does that. You got to be mindful of that. Because our children are watching. I'm telling you, they are watching. You don't think that they're paying attention, but your children pay attention to everything that you do. Children, grandchildren. It's funny how they they pay attention. I know my grandbaby, you know, sometimes when I FaceTime my daughter and I talk, you know, speaking to my grandson, and I'll just go, you know, make a little reference like, hey boo, something like that to him. And next thing you know, when I talk to him again, he's FaceTiming me. He's talking about, hey boo. I said, boy, what you talking about, hey boo? So he remembers that I joke around and say that to him. So, you know, I just said that to say this, you know, children, they mimic everything that you do. Everything that you do and you say. So you do have to be careful what you do and how you behave around them, because you don't want that. You don't want your child, you know, like for Brittany and Renner, you don't want your child to start mimicking those toxic behavior that you have and taking it to school and then, you know, fighting and having all this problem at school because of you. And the next thing you know, you're going to, you know, want to take them to counseling. And the first thing you do when you take your child to school counseling because of behavior, you know what the first thing that they want to do. They're going to want to put them on medicine. Because that's what they do. They don't ever want to, you know, find out what the deeper problem is. The first thing they want to do, especially, and, you know, I want to say for our children, the African American race, and that's what they want to do. They want to, first thing they want to do is put them on medicine, and you don't want that. You know, you don't want that. Do not put your child on any type of medication when they're young like that, because all it's going to do is have them all drowsy and dragging, and next thing you know, they're on, putting them on special classes and all that stuff, and that's going to follow their record throughout their whole school year. It's going to follow their record throughout the year, their whole entire school year through 12th grade. And they'll be listed as a problem child when nothing's probably wrong with them. They just grew up in an environment at home that they couldn't control. What'd you say, Courtney? I wish I could see it better. Yes, yes. Definitely could be prevented. Definitely could be prevented. Because domestic violence is real. I don't know if y'all heard about that story that happened in Baltimore, not Baltimore, I think this was in Chicago, when the young lady dropped her son off to school. She dropped her son off at school, and her son's father and his girlfriend, for whatever reason, pulled up to the school. So it's obviously it was some type of love triangle, or they already had some kind of situation going on anyway. But they pulled up to the school with this young lady. Her and the baby father got into an altercation, and he put her in a headlock in front of the school. He grabbed her and he put her in a headlock at school. And they got into it. And for some reason, the girlfriend, who, mind you, have a restraining. She have a restraining order on the child that was dropping, on the girl that was dropping the child off. So, apparently they already had issue. She got herself involved in a situation that to me have nothing to do with her. That's between that woman and her son's father, her child's father. She got herself involved with it and shot the girl. Shot her and killed her in front of the school grounds, in front of the school, in front of her child. Well, luckily they said the child had already gone inside. The child had already went inside the building, so he didn't actually see what happened. But it happened in front of school. Shot and killed that girl. The girlfriend did. And it had nothing to do with her. The situation had nothing to do with her. It was between the child's father and the mom. And she killed that girl. And she had a restraining order on the girl she killed. So her claim is she's justified because she had a restraining order. No, you're not. Because if you had a restraining order to be away from her, why did you come to her? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. If you had a restraining order on her, what in the world would make you come to her and say you're justified by I guess because of the stand your ground law, whatever law she thinks she's justified with, and using that as an excuse to not go to jail. Honey, I hate to tell you, boo, you're going to jail. That law is not going to stand for you. Because you had nothing to do with it. Now, like I said earlier, that's another child that's going to be traumatized because of behavior by parenting. It's I'm telling you. You don't realize the damage that you're doing to these kids, and that's what a lot of the younger generation now are being raised by younger parents, and they're more so the friends of these children than parents. They're more friends than parents, and these are the results that we're getting. The violence, and it's bad. It's really bad. And I hate this for the world that we live in, for the generation. Like, most of us, we've raised our children. Our children are grown, and I guess in our mind we're saying, well, my kid's grown, and I'm glad I ain't got to deal with it. But technically, yeah, you still gonna have to deal with it because your children's gonna have children. That means your grand is gonna be raised up in this generation of what's going on. So, you still have to be involved, and you still have to be concerned, and you still have to be worried. Yeah, you're still gonna have to be worried. Good morning, Christine. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I am trying to drive and pay attention to this road, so I can't see everybody, see your comments. But I'm glad that you guys are here, and I appreciate y'all coming through. I really appreciate you guys coming through. It was something else I meant to talk about. Okay. Thanks, Court. There was something else that I had in my mind to talk about. I can't even remember at this point. But I think that was like the main topics. One of the main topics that I wanted to reiterate it on. Just speaking on that. Y'all ever get up in the morning to go to work and feel like today is the day you want to just retire and quit? That's how I was this morning, y'all. I was so tired. I was like, oh my God. How long more do I have to do this? But then when I get to work, I'll be all right. Once I get to work and start doing what I do, it's like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. But just getting up in the morning, y'all just don't know. It's like the same routine every day. It's almost like you just want to do something different. So that's how you too, Courtney. Yeah, I'm like that. I definitely am like that. Yeah. But see, do y'all think Tyler Perry, how do y'all feel? Do y'all think Tyler Perry is being extorted? Is it extortion? How do y'all feel about that? So I believe that. Hold on, Courtney. I gotta read your comment. You know, we just started this hands-free law down here, so I gotta be careful. I don't want to get fined. So you believe it? Oh, you said you you believe in another life you was meant to be lazy. I believe that for me too, Lord. I believe that for me too. I was talking the other morning when I was on here about old school marriages when women didn't have to work. I mean, the women just stay home and just raise kids. But you know, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't know how I would like that. I don't know. I guess I probably would if I had something to do, but I gotta stay busy. I have to stay busy. But having, raising children, that's actually a job. That's a job by itself. People think that staying at home, being a stay-at-home mom is as easy as it is, but that's a job too for a parent. Yeah, I don't know if I would like it either, Courtney, because I like going to work. I like having my own money. I'm pretty independent when it comes to being able to, when I'm ready to buy something, buy it. When I'm ready to do something, do it. I like my independency when it comes to that. But don't get me wrong now, if you want me to stay home and not work, I'll do it for a couple months. And I'll just, go to work out about three months out of the year. Something like that. But I just don't want to stay home. I would have to be doing something productive, or running a business or something. Because that's how it was with my mom. She didn't work, but she had other stuff she had going on. Like my dad had a gas station that he owned, so she would, run the gas station for him. And she baked a lot, so she would bake, sell it at the store, that type of stuff. She had some other stuff going on, and raising her family too, raising us too. So that's how that was. And I can see myself doing something like that. Honestly, I could see myself doing something like that. But not just stay home just to be home. Couldn't do that. But Courtney, do you feel as though Tyler Perry is getting extorted? You think it's an extortion? Or do you you kind of believe a little something happened, but it just wasn't worth it. It's not $260 million, a $260 million situation. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You just, yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think because of his sexuality would mean that he did it. I'm just I don't know him. I don't know him personally, of course, but watching his demeanor and how he is, he seems very stubborn. I guess that's the word that I want to use. He seems like he has a very stubborn type personality, like a I'm not going to take no type of personality. That's what I see about him. You know, I could be wrong because, like I said, I don't know him, but it just seems like he have that type of personality on him. But okay, you know, I can do what I want. You know, this is my money. I do what I want. You know, nobody can tell me different because I'm rich. But that doesn't mean that he did anything out of the way. But I believe that they had something. I believe they flirted. I put it like that. I believe they flirted with each other. I do believe they flirt with each other, and they both have had the same thing in mind. They both had the same thoughts in mind of what they wanted, but I don't feel as though he did anything unwarranted. I don't think so. I think everything he did, they had they had an agreement on it. Or they had a meeting of the mind on it. I put it like that. They both agreed. Because why you wait till now? If you had a problem with it, why do you wait until now to share those text messages? One of the text messages that he shared, I guess Tyler was at the beach and Tyler sent him. You know, it was a friendly text message. Like Tyler sent him a picture with him in his swim trunk at the beach, swimming trunks at the beach, and he said he replied, "Nice pic," and Tyler responded back saying, "Nice pic. You don't see this stud in this picture?" Calling himself a stud in the picture, and he said he just laughed it off. Okay, if you didn't have a problem with it, why in that text message you didn't say it was no response, or you say how you really feel about it? You enjoyed the flirt. You enjoyed the flirtation that you had with this man because you thought you was going to get what you want. You thought you were going to get something out of it. And when you realize that you're not going to get what you want, or his claim is Tyler let him go from the Oval after he would not pursue his sexual advantages. That's what he's saying. But I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true or not. I just believe that he was not that great of an actor, in my opinion. He did okay, but he wasn't worth $250 million. Right. But I said said, Tyler, him and Shannon, they both, to me, gotta learn the lesson. They gotta learn their lesson. I mean, can't have all that money and just messing with the average person thinking you're not, you know, something like this is not gonna happen. Thinking, because everybody don't have your best interests. Everybody does not and will not have your best interests at heart. So you gotta know your limits. You gotta know your limit. You gotta deal with somebody that you know that's gonna kind of match your same energy. I mean, y'all know you love who you love. You can fall in love with who you want to fall in love with, but the empowerment of you having millions and millions of dollars, and you dealing with someone that don't have that type of money. First of all, it's going to be a power dynamic anyway. You're going to have a power dynamic in that situation. First thing they're gonna, first thing gonna be said to you is, you're his boss at the end of the day, and it happens not just with actors and actresses. It happens on an everyday job. It could be, claimed as sexual harassment or sexual bullying when you have when you're working under someone. And and I can see how I can see how he would feel, as though, okay, if I tell him no, then I'm going to get fired. That's where the advantages come as far as being a boss, the power dynamic, because you want to make someone feel like they're obligated to be nice to you because they don't want to lose their job. That's why it's never good to date no employees or not. Like I said, that's on an everyday job. That's not just for people that has money. That's for anybody. You got to be careful. Right? Yeah, it's arguable. It is. That's why I said I'm not gonna take everything away from the situation and say that the guy was totally wrong. I'm not gonna say that, because he is justifiable for him to feel the way he feels, but I don't think it's $260 million justifiable. I'll put it like that. And his claim, and he's not even claiming they had sex, for one. It would have been different. Like in Shannon's situation, Shannon actually, was intimate with this girl, and she had videotapes, video recording, and he was locked. His hands were definitely tied. He couldn't do nothing about that situation because the girl had him, and she played him to the left. She really did play him to the left. But that's what he gets, because first of all, he's too old to be, dealing with someone that young anyway. Stick with your age. And that's for anyone that's dealing with someone that young. You gotta expect stuff like that, because these kids are young. They're not looking for no serious. They're looking for a come up. They're looking for somebody with money. They're looking for someone with money. You're not going to find no 20-year-old dating a 40 and 50-year-old man, and you think they're just dating you just because they love you. If you do think that, you are sadly mistaken. It's more a financial situation. Either just getting what they want, or they looking for you to kick the bucket so they can get some money. That's what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. But exactly. Pay up and do better. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes and keep it moving. Well, Courtney, I appreciate you coming through, and everybody else that actually came through. I thank y'all. I'm actually close to work now. I'm about to turn in a minute. I'm about to turn in my job in a minute, but thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it, and hopefully you guys will come back through again. And y'all have a good day. I appreciate y'all. Bye.